The world stood still as Pope Francis, the leader of the Catholic Church, made a declaration that sent shockwaves across the globe. In a solemn address, he revealed that the Antichrist had seized control over the leadership of the United States. His words, heavy with sorrow and urgency, echoed through the halls of history, leaving religious scholars, political analysts, and everyday citizens in stunned silence. This was not the claim of a fringe theologian or a doomsday prophet, it was the Pope himself, the Vicar of Christ, sounding the alarm. The implications were profound, touching the very core of global governance, morality, and the fate of nations. For decades, whispers of a shadow government manipulating world affairs have circulated. Conspiracy theories spoke of secret societies, economic elites, and globalist agendas working behind the scenes. But now, the highest authority of the Catholic Church had confirmed these fears. Pope Francis declared that the forces of darkness had enthroned themselves in the most powerful nation on earth. The United States, once hailed as the embodiment of democratic freedom and Christian values, was now the epicenter of the Antichrist's agenda. Theologians rushed to the sacred texts, seeking validation in the prophetic scriptures of Daniel and Revelation. These books foretold the rise of a malevolent world power, a beast clothed in deception, capable of misleading even the elect. Daniel 7 verses 23 to 25 spoke of a final empire that would emerge, subduing nations and altering laws to usher in a dark era of control. Revelation 13 verse 7 described a beast granted authority over all peoples and nations, demanding allegiance at the cost of one's soul. Could the United States be this prophesied empire? While the world reeled from the Pope's declaration, one group saw it as confirmation of what they had known all along: the Black Biblical Israelites. For centuries, their true identity as God's chosen people had been obscured, systematically erased from history and replaced with a narrative that served colonial empires. The descendants of the Israelites had endured slavery, oppression, and cultural disenfranchisement, all while their identity was stolen and rewritten. The Pope's words were a stark warning. The Antichrist's dominion was not only about political power but also spiritual deception. Pope Francis exposed the meticulously crafted system designed to keep the Black Biblical Israelites oppressed. Economic disparity, discriminatory policies, and cultural erasure were not accidental but deliberate tools of the Antichrist's agenda. Generational wealth was denied through redlining, predatory lending, and exclusion from lucrative industries. The justice system criminalized Black communities, while mainstream media and education perpetuated false narratives. The Pope's warning was clear: this was not just a fight for civil rights but a spiritual battle for the soul of humanity. Pope Francis urged the Black Biblical Israelites to awaken from their spiritual slumber. The time had come to reject the lies, reclaim their identity, and stand against the forces of deception. He called for unity, faith, and unwavering conviction. The battle was not just for control over nations but for the very souls of God's chosen people. The Pope's words were a wake-up call. The Antichrist's grip on America was tightening, and only those who stood in truth and righteousness would prevail. The Vatican found itself at the center of a theological and political firestorm. High-ranking officials were divided, with some distancing themselves from the Pope's statement and others fully supporting his warning. Calls for an urgent theological summit grew louder, as the Church grappled with the implications of the Pope's revelation. The world watched as the Vatican navigated treacherous waters, torn between maintaining diplomatic relations and upholding spiritual truth. As the world stood on the precipice of a new era, one question remained: would the people heed the Pope's warning, or would they continue in blindness until it was too late? The Antichrist had taken the throne, and the battle for the soul of humanity had begun. The Pope's words were not just a condemnation but a call to action. The truth had been spoken, the deception exposed. Now, it was up to the people to choose: stand firm against the tide of darkness or be swept away by it. Pope Francis has spoken. The Most High is calling his people to awaken. The spiritual battle for America and for the soul of the true Israelites has begun. The time is now. Will you answer the call?